Recently, a question came up on the Christian ISTP discussion group. Yes, believe it or not, such a thing actually exists. But anyway, the question was about whether Christian ISTPs in general attend church regularly or are like regularly involved throughout the week in like Bible studies or studying the Bible on our own or church activities. And the general consensus was that we don't. And that it may be on the back of their minds, like, oh yeah, I should probably attend church more often, I should read the Bible more often, and they're just generally not motivated to do so, which doesn't surprise me at all. When you think about it, like NF Christians might be more naturally motivated to do those things because they sense that they want to strengthen their relationship with God. SJ Christians go to church just because that's the thing to do. They do it out of a sense of tradition or a sense of duty. They just wouldn't think to do otherwise. And then NT Christians, I don't know. SPs, we like to live in the moment. As ISTPs, we don't feel the need for community or whatever. So, there's really nothing to naturally motivate us to stay connected to God, to go to church regularly, to study the Bible, or any of those things that Christians are generally encouraged to do. Now, as for me, I've always had a regular habit of attending church every week ever since I've been a Christian. And that sometimes might even mean, like, when I'm on vacation, I might either download an MP3 sermon onto my smartphone or find some church in that area to visit, which is actually kind of fun sometimes. And sometimes if I oversleep on a regular Sunday and I miss my own church's last service, which is at 11 a.m., I might just look for another local church in the area that has later services in the day. There have been moments in my life when, say, I moved to a new area and I was still in the process of looking for a church. I would still try to make it a point to visit a church every Sunday. Now, right now, I'm actually on my church's sound team, and so every other Sunday, I'm there at 6:30 a.m., or at least I'm supposed to be, to start setting up the sound system, because we meet in a gym, and so we have to, assemble the entire sound system and tear it down after the last service is over. So I'm actually really glad to be on a bi-weekly rotation for that, because I would just go nuts if I was committed to doing that every Sunday. And then if I want to take a particular Sunday off, then I can just negotiate with one of the other sound guys and then maybe trade weeks or however we decide to work it out. So, so that's kind of nice to not feel locked into having to be there on these particular Sundays. Now, during the week, I do try to pray regularly and read the Bible almost every day, though it's always been a struggle to stay consistent in doing those things. More often than not, I just really don't want to. But I know that those things are necessary components for maintaining a solid relationship with God. Plus, I know that it would be a lot harder to get back into those habits than it would be to get out of them, because it's always really tempting to just say, I don't feel like doing that today. And then, all of a sudden the habit is broken. But during that Facebook discussion, I was actually encouraged by something that one of the other Christian ISTPs wrote. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. I heard a sermon on how church isn't for me. It's a time to honor God as a part of the Christian family and to humbly hear His word. It's a big way to show love to God. Ever since, I've tried hard not to miss a Sunday. Now I can hardly do without. I get more out of it than before, and it affects my week more. I think that's a pattern in the Bible. We obey first, out of gratitude, not to earn anything, and then God blesses us. Now I'm trying to read the Bible more. I'm still not very consistent, but the principle is holding true. The more I do, the more I want to do, and the more it affects my life. So yeah, the key there is to remember that we do those things like attending church and praying and studying the Bible, not necessarily for our own benefit, but just to honor God and to give back and for the sake of our Christian brothers and sisters. Because, you know, if we just go into it with a mindset that we're just like, what do I get out of it? Well, yeah, as ISTPs, we're never going to be motivated to do those things because we really don't get anything out of it, you know, other than the spiritual components, which we generally don't see. And you got to keep in mind that Satan knows just as much about MBTI as we do, and so he knows the weaknesses of an ISTP and what's going to keep us distracted away from growing in a relationship with God. So I hope that's at least encouraging to the few ISTP Christians out there watching this, or anybody else who might be able to relate. And so that's pretty much all I have to say. I should watch where I'm going sometimes. Now, during the week, you don't want to hear me rustling on these leaves, do you? Okay, let's try this. Let me try this again. We do those things. We do We do those things to. I forgot why we do those things. I think I'm trespassing. So I don't know what these vehicles are parking. Ah, there's mosquitoes. What is that over there anyway? Okay, yep. It's a private residential driveway. Yeah, people living there confirmed it.